Hey YouTube, this is Real Honest Fishing with a Real Honest review, and today I'm going to be going over the Shimano Cardiff 401A conventional fishing reel. This is not going to be an unboxing. I have already used the reel multiple times, so I'm going to be going over what I think about it so far and kind of help out those who are still considering this reel as something they want to buy. So let's get right into it. So here's the reel straight out of the box. Notice that there is line on it right now. You will not be getting line if you purchase in store, so make sure you buy line because that will not come with it. A few specs about this: it is a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio reel. It weighs about 12 ounces, and the default line weight that it can hold is as low as 12 pound and as much as 20 pound. But anyway, this is what is known as a bait caster reel. It is a lot different than a spinning reel, mainly because what makes these so unique is that there are a lot of mechanisms on the reel, as you can see right here, and that affects how you fish. So I'm just going to briefly mention what each part of the reel is. I'm not going to go in too much depth because I'm not going to make that the center of the video. I just want to do a basic overview. So I'm just going to jump right into the reel mechanisms really quick. You do have your handle. On the side of that is your drag control. The middle knob here, if you can see it okay. The middle knob right here is your tension. That will pretty much tell you how tight or loose the spool will sit in the reel. You do have your thumb press. On the back here you have your line threader. I don't know what it's called. That's just what I call it. And it just threads your line back and forth so it sits nice on your spool. On the bottom here, this knob, or button I should say, switch, whatever you want to call it, if you flip it to on, it allows you to have your line click. So that's kind of a nice perk. And then this also comes equipped with a brake system for the spool, so you are able to control how fast or slow it moves. But in order to do that, you do have to open the casing, which I will show you quickly, and that's how you adjust it. So what I'm going to do now is open the reel a little bit to show you really quick the brake system on this. Try to do it as fast as I can because I don't want to make this a really long video. Oh, there it went. So the spool sits in there. It just sits connected to gears. And the brake system are these gray little weights, they call them. And all you do is to adjust it is you just push up on them, and there are multiple combinations that you can have for this. So depending on your style of fishing or how you want to fish, the lures you're using, this will vary, so there is no right or wrong way to adjust it. And then to put the reel back together, you simply line the gears up in the back and make sure your thumb press is actually in the up position, or else it won't lock. Sometimes the reel will go in okay, sometimes it just gives you a hard time. Oh, maybe I gotta turn that off. Yeah, so make sure you do turn the clicker off when you are putting the spool back in, or else it will not go in. Screw everything back on. That clicks, and you're good to go. And that's kind of like the general overview and deconstruction of the mechanisms within the reel. One thing I have to quickly say about it is that this is a very complex reel, so be sure you read the instructions when you get this reel, especially if you are unfamiliar with bait casters and these types of bait casters. It really has a lot of information, especially if you're new to it, and it even has how to cast correctly and how to calibrate everything to where you can minimize the backlash you get on the reel, because that's another thing I've noticed is that this reel backlashes a lot if you don't have the right settings. I backlashed really bad one day and I couldn't fish the rest of the day, so ever since then I try to make sure I'm actually putting the correct settings, and so far ever since then I've actually had pretty good luck with it, but it still minimizes your backlash a little bit, and you might get small ones, but they won't be incredibly bad. So that's only the one thing that you have to watch out for with this reel, but other than that, it's a pretty solid reel in my opinion, and it works really well once you get the hang of it. So in terms of cost, you're going to be spending, and I know this might sound scary to some of you if you're on a budget especially, you're going to be paying between $100 and $150, at least here in the US. If you're elsewhere, I don't know what's going to be. So that's how much I paid for it, and I know like it might sound like a lot to some of you if you are on a budget and money's tight, but it's a really solid reel for what it's worth, and you could buy a reel similar to this one for less, but the quality isn't going to be as great, and there are a lot more expensive ones out there that go for double, triple the price of this, and I think it's a pretty solid takeaway with this reel because you don't get a super expensive reel, but you get one that's better quality than the cheap ones. So that's kind of my take on it. I mean, I was scared when I first bought this, and I was kind of cringing at the price, but in the end, it's an investment, and as long as you like it, then it's totally worth it. So that about does it for the review. Like I said, I'm not going to do an in-depth video just because I'm going to save that for other videos, especially if some of you have specific questions or want to see something gone over. So I'm going to do that, and eventually I do want to try to get videos to where I can have this reel out in the field and showing how it works when it's on a rod. So when the weather clears up, I'm going to try to do that. It's been raining lately, so I don't want to take my equipment out into the field in the rain. So I'm going to do that next time, and hopefully soon. And oh yes, there is one more thing I forgot to mention. If you are curious if you can get this in the model that has the paddles on the right side, you have to buy the Cardiff 400A model. So the Cardiff 400A is the one that has the handles on the right. So that is a possibility. You just have to look for that specific model to get it all on this side. But anyway, that does it for this review. And please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more real honest reviews, and most importantly, real honest fishing. Until next time, guys.